Hi, Dr. Bridget here with another prescription for success. Last week I talked about the signs and symptoms of self-sabotage, and this week I'm going to talk about what can we do about self-sabotage. So last week we talked about how to recognise self-sabotage, a lot about procrastination and unuseful behaviours, illnesses, picking fights, and generally losing your confidence and not doing anything. And we talked about how really your unconscious mind is there to protect you from other things, perhaps some deep-seated fear, perhaps fear that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we don't deserve the success. And we have that battle going on, which is about self-preservation versus what we actually want. So, and that's tiring, isn't it? I do occasionally do some self-sabotage myself, and it wastes time. It means I don't get to do what I really want to do, and it just doesn't work for me. So I think the first thing is to think about the root causes. So once you've actually recognised what's going on, think about the root causes. So where does this self-sabotage come from? What's the theme of your negative chatter that's going on in your head? So maybe they've come from a past, from your childhood, from things that happened at work, in business, with people around you. And what your brain is doing is just preserving you from going through that again. So it gives you lots of reasons and excuses, why you shouldn't do whatever it is that you want to, that will take you out of your comfort zone. Then the second thing is a little bit of self-reflection. So journaling is really useful. So I'll put a link for a friend of mine does some journals, so I'll put a link to those on Amazon. I find them really useful. It enables you to have a theme for self-reflection. But if you don't want to go and buy those sort of things, then just get a book, get some stationery, get some nice pens, love stationery, and just put the pen on the paper and start to write about what it is you think's going on. It's very enlightening. And then it's about building some positive behaviours. So make sure that you've got the positive people around you, that you spend time with them. Make sure that you're looking after yourself. So self-care is really, really important. Although it can, interestingly, be part of self-sabotage. So, you don't want to do something, or I really need to look after myself, and I won't do it because of that. So just make sure that when you're looking after yourself, it's not part of your self-sabotage. And then just sort of change your patterns of behaviour. And I think this is where NLP comes in, really, because it takes about 63 days, I think, is the latest estimate, to change patterns of behaviour. Whereas something like NLP can change that in half an hour, even down to deeper problems where you're not good enough, and some patterns that you've done from when you were young and keep doing. That doesn't take very long at all, 2 or 3 hours, and we can sort that out. So I know it sounds really, I don't know, what does it sound? It sounds like almost too good to be true, really, but having worked with hundreds of people in business and people who are struggling and self-sabotaging in life, it really does work. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. So if you need some help, give me a shout. I do one-to-one coaching, also run courses where both of these things can be sorted out really, really quickly. So thanks for listening. I'll leave you get off and do the ironing and whatever else you're going to be doing now. But actually have a think about where you're going and what you need to be doing, and just do that and give me a shout if you can't. Okay, take care, bye.